conquista tutto. L'amore conquista tutto.
Hey there everyone, it's Curly here and welcome to episode 70 of the Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast. I'm just sitting here doing a bit of a test run, I guess, for some of the equipment that I'll be taking up the coast as I prep for the big night tomorrow night, watching Railmotor for the first time up there in Agnes Waters. Now, as you can obviously see, Braggy's not with me tonight. He's in those final throes of recording the debut album of Railmotor, and it's just left to Curly while he's testing his equipment to say, hey, why don't I put out a quick episode of the Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast just to stay in connection, just to stay connected. So I'll be solo tonight. So now one thing that I want to talk about tonight, and as I said, it's a quick little show. I put this together just this afternoon just to try and help me understand how I can work with. So I'll be outside of my normal environment, outside of my office, outside of the studio that I often use on the Unfiltered, just using a laptop and just using a standalone mic. So I just thought, well, let's test it, make sure it all works, and let's put out an episode while I'm here. So this is just a quick little trip down memory lane, I guess, for me. And it's something that I just want to share in relation to it. A quick little trip down memory lane. It's been a cold winter. It's been a really cold winter. I don't like the cold. I don't handle the cold incredibly well. And I've been longing for, in many ways, those summer Sunday sessions. And so I was thinking about doing an episode where I was rugged up out on the back deck, longing for summer. But then I thought about a really special Sunday session that I went to. And, I think it was on a Sunday. I'm not quite sure. The memories are a little bit hazy. But it's a really, really fun memory with a funny little story in there as well. So what I want to talk about is the SKA BQ, the Summer SKA BQ. Now, the Glen Hotel, for those that live in Brisbane, for those that know the 8 Mile Plains, Logan area, there used to be, the Glen Hotel is still there. Its configuration has changed incredibly, but they used to put on the SKA BQ. And the SKA BQ is a little bit legendary in Australian ska circles. They were often headlined by the incredible Strange Tendencies, right? So it was a mix of ska bands on during the afternoon, early evening. I believe they went on a Sunday, but as I said, the memories are a little bit hazy. It was the mid-'80s. After all, I was a much younger pup, as we all know. But the Glen Hotel, the famous SKA BQ. So one thing I do know is that they are headlined by Strange Tendencies. And they were an amazing band live. They were incredible. And lots of them up on stage, brass sections, the funky little rhythm happening. But I'll talk about them in more detail a little bit later on. But what the SKA BQ often had was a mix of bands. So it was held more than once. I do know that. I went once, so the memories are hazy. And the band, the time that I went, one of the opening acts was a band called the Furious Turtles. Now they were, some people will know them as Brisbane's first ska band. So I don't know if that's historically correct. But some people will refer to them as such. But I do know that they're a hard-working Brisbane ska band. They released an album in 1984 called Endangered Species. They gigged lots. And, it's pretty easy to get overexposed in the Brisbane market at that particular time. And they've released another album in 2004, and some of their music is available on the streaming platforms. But they were one of the bands that played the Glen that day. Now, I can't remember if they were the opening band or if they played second or third. But to me, the Turtles were always a band that delivered. And what I want to show for you tonight is not a live clip. This is a film clip that you can find on YouTube. And as always, the links will be in the show notes. And it was recorded in some of the old shipping and stevedore areas around the Story Bridge. So for those people who knew Brisbane in that particular time frame, there's probably some memories there that there's a little bit of nostalgia. And for those that don't know Brisbane, if around that time, but know Brisbane today, it's, if you think about those areas like where the Felons Brewery and Eagle Street eateries, they all used to be like old docks and shipyards. And back in the mid-80s. So this is the area that this film clip was actually filmed in. So many people won't recognise it. But here's a little bit of nostalgia with the Furious Turtles.
I don't like orchestrations, that's what I don't like about you. You're saying one thing when you mean to say something else. How can I love somebody when I can't love myself? It's not, it's who, it's not what you say, it's not what you do. It's not, it's who. It's not what to say, it's not what to do. A passive image of a benign and visual kind, to stand and follow fashion, the act seems so sublime. Grotesque in admiration, but in simmered seething mass, then whose thoughts are burrowed and whose thoughts are fact. I don't like orchestrations, that's what I don't like about you. You're saying one thing when you mean to say something else. How can I trust somebody when I can't trust myself? It's not, it's who, it's not what you say, it's not what to do. It's not, it's who. What to say, not what to do. Hey!
So that was the Furious Turtles. Don't you love the old 80s fashion and a little bit of that dancing? My God. And there, Furious Turtles, hopefully it brought back, for those people in Brisbane who've lived in Brisbane for a long, long time, hopefully that brought back some memories. Furious Turtles, there's a couple of live clips available of them on YouTube, so if you were interested in having a bit of a bo peep, and of course, as I said, their songs are also now available on some of the streaming platforms. So the first band is that featured tonight, quick episode, Brisbane band, Funny That. The second band is that a band. So I've talked about Strange Tendencies. They're from Melbourne. Furious Turtles are from Brisbane. This band was a Sydney band. Now, in all honesty, I can't remember if they played this particular SKA BQ that I went to, and maybe the hazy memories. There's a story coming up soon that will share maybe why the memories were a little bit hazy. But this band was so Furious Turtles were known as the Brisbane ska band. Strange Tendencies were from Melbourne. This band, the All Nighters, were known as the Sydney ska band, I guess. And when I say known as them, they were the most known. So they were formed in 1980, and most people know them for their top 40 hits. Yes, covers of Montego Bay and Love and Affection were two of their big hits. Now, I saw them a couple of times, the All Nighters, and the song that I'm going to share tonight is one that is, to me, they're a really cool song. That they played live, that was awesome live, but it got some airplay, probably made the top 40 in some way, shape or form. Now, I'm pretty confident also that I saw them play with the Eurogliders a couple of times when in those mid-80s days. So I'm not quite sure if that was the correct mix, but I'm pretty certain that they played with Eurogliders. And many people would probably say, geez, that's a strange mix, but by my memory, and once again, this is my memory, the mix went well. I did see them in a couple of festival type shows like Aussie Hop and Aussie Rock and whatnot up at Noosa Aussie Hop, I think it was called. So I saw them in that style of show probably more often than anywhere else. And the song that I'm going to play is a song called Hold On. So this is the All Nighters with Hold On.
Slow down, you're moving too fast. Hold on, I'm trying to follow. You keep on walking and you walk right past. Hold on, I'm trying to follow. I'm trying to follow you to find out who the boy was that stole your love. We went out dancing and you took the lead. Hold on, I'm trying to follow. With a friend like you, I need a friend indeed. Hold on, I'm trying to follow. Trying to follow you to find out who the boy was that stole your love. Let's go! You said you'd love me and you'd always be true. Hold on, I'm trying to follow. Your kind of love is something new. Hold on, I'm trying to follow. I'm trying to follow you to find out who the boy was that stole your love. Now this affair was doomed from the start. Hold on, I'm trying to follow. But we're together and now we're apart. Hold on, I'm trying to follow. Trying to follow you to find out who the boy was that stole your love.
And that's the All-Nighters with Hold On. So you may have known them with Montego Bay, and they're a pretty cool version of Love and Affection, to be honest. It was a pretty good version. So let's talk a little bit about the memory that I had. And the memory of the SKA BQ, as I said, was a little bit hazy. But there was one incident there that I've got a really clear memory of. There was a stage there between when there was a time there where there was a gap between bands, and I was in need of a break and to go outside and get some fresh air. And for those that have been in like a SKA BQ type environment, it's it's a little bit of mix outside, inside, and an amazing event, but it you can become a little bit disorientated, okay? And there may have been some drinks had, some substances had, so there was an opportunity where I just needed to get some fresh air. So I went outside and I sat next to my car. Now my car at the time was an 84 canary yellow Cortina, right? So it didn't stand out much. So bright yellow Cortina, and I was a little bit naive, I guess, as well, because I didn't realise that many of the people who would be attracted to go to a SKA BQ were maybe some people that might also be attractive to a particular group of people who wore blue. Right, so the boys in blue might have found that it was a pretty interesting place to sort of pop in and check on every now and again. So while there was a lot of people that were just like me there to see bands, there was a few hundred maybe skinheads who looked dangerous, felt dangerous, and potentially were dangerous. So there wasn't too many times that I actually saw skinheads being dangerous, but I think there was respect between, subcultures and whatnot. But I've got no doubt that people felt threatened by them, and that there were, in fact, many times that they potentially were dangerous. I never saw it myself, but I didn't realise that it would be such an attractive proposition, and I didn't think that just going outside for some fresh air would suddenly put me in a situation where I was, quite nervous and wondering if I was going to keep the job that I had, because the boys in blue were doing a prowl through the car park. They come across a fresh-faced curly sitting there beside his car, long black swampy hair, and decided to have a chat to me as to what I was doing and why I was there. And before too long, they were searching the car, right? So they were searching the bright yellow 84 Cortina, and I was shitting myself, and they were doing a pretty thorough job on searching the car, and wasn't necessarily shitting myself because of what I knew that I had in the car. I was shitting myself because of what I knew that my good mate had in the car. So anyway, needless to say, they did a really good job of searching it, except they didn't look in the one place that they should have looked. And, for those people that can remember those 1980 bench-style seats at the back of a car, there was always a vinyl sort of a armrest that folded back into the back of the seat. And probably one of the more obvious places that I would have thought that someone would have looked if they were attempting to stash anything. Anyway, that was the one place they didn't look. So maybe if they did look, my memories would maybe not have been as fond as what they were of that particular day. But needless to say, once they'd finished and once they failed to look where they should have probably looked, I bolted back inside and spent the rest of the day trying to sober up. So which brings me to and it was easy to sober up when the Strange Tenants came on stage. And one of the things that I found doing some quick research on YouTube is just how good the Strange Tenants were. And often we forget about how good some bands are. And the Tenants had a real mix of, songs. They had a real mix of, Saturday Night and Hard Times are just fantastic songs and would have been fantastic songs in any genre, but to put that little bit of reggae ska beat to it was just fantastic. So the Tenets were the final band. They were always like the headline band. And one of the key things that I found while doing the research was that there was a gig, and you can see this on YouTube, and if I remember I'll put it in the show notes, but there's a gig on YouTube from the Brisbane National Hotel. So and in between, like during this particular gig, all these people come up and dance, like the ska dance. I don't know what I can't remember if it was called anything in particular. And the band just plays, and there's all these people on stage. And one of the people on stage was a guy I used to play football with. And, unfortunately, I think he's passed on. So it was a real, once again, nostalgic memory that I sort of had to see this guy up there on stage in his big bother boots and, the braces and whatnot, doing his thing. And I that's the amazing thing that I see with YouTube nowadays, is that you never know what you can find unless you go looking. And there's, that brought back some really good memories, but from what I understand, sad memories, because I think that guy is no longer with us. So I won't mention names because, I'm not quite sure. He may still be around being an accountant somewhere, but, last I heard, I think this particular person had passed away. But it was interesting. You're just sitting there watching, all of a sudden you see a mate and jump up on stage and start doing the ska. So this is a song that one of my mates, Scotty, if you listen to the podcast, How You Going, one of my mates, Scotty, got me into Strange Tenants, and it was because of this EP that they put out. Blue Beat All Stars, I think it might have been called. And this song was on that particular EP. One of the things I might talk to Braggy about is we might do a bit of a show around the Strange Tenants, because once again, different musical styles within their mix of songs that they do, and I think incredibly underrated Australian band. But this is the Strange Tenants with fantastic version. These boots are made for stomping.
You keep saying you got something for me, something you call love, but confess you've been messing where you shouldn't be messing. Someone else is getting all your best, but these boots are made for stomping, and that's just what they'll do. And one of these days these boots are gonna stomp all over you. Where you shouldn't be kissing. You've been cheating all the time. And one of these days I'm gonna jump up. I'm gonna stomp all over you into the ground. That's right, buddy. 'Cause these boots are made for stomping, and that's just what they'll do. And one of these days these boots are gonna stomp all over you. Johnny, take it away, come on! Bring it up, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up, come on! These boots
stomp all over you.
Bobby Dazzler, come on! Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up!
These boots are made for stomping, and that is just what they'll do. And one of these days, these boots are gonna stomp all over you.
That's it, lads!
How was that? How was that? That was awesome. So I hope you enjoyed that. That Strange Tendencies, Boots Are Made for Stomping. And as I said, I'll have a chat to Braggy to see if we can do a show just wholly and solely on the Strange Tenants, because some great songs, some great musicians, and they're just a nice little history piece here in the context of Australian music. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this quick little episode. It's only gone for, well, let me just check the time. It's about it's less than 30 minutes, so it's about half of what we normally take. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Tomorrow I head up to Agnes Waters. Railmotor are playing live tomorrow night in Agnes Waters. I'm really looking forward to having a couple of coldies and watching the band and watching Braggy, talking to some of the band members, getting some footage, that sort of thing. I hope the iPhone holds up. That's all I can say. I'm not taking a great deal of stuff, but 2 weeks they've been recording up there. Looking forward to getting that album out. Braggy thinks I'll like it, so we'll see how we go. Until next time. So next week we'll be talking a little bit more about the Railmotor experience. I hope you've enjoyed tonight. As per always, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow the links in the bio to some of the songs that we played tonight, and to the Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast. I'll add some of those songs that I played tonight into that, into our playlist. So don't forget. So until next week, everyone, have yourself an amazing weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Acquista tutto. L'amore conquista tutto.